We're coming to you from Camp Randall Stadium, where today the Badgers held off Northern Iowa 26-21, game that got really close in the fourth quarter. I'm Adam Mertz with Andy Baggett. Andy, the big thing coming out of today is that Northern Iowa is a ranked team with a great tradition at the lower level. They came in and they showed they could go toe-to-toe in a lot of ways.
Well, I think one of the telling lines from Brett Bielema after the game, the Wisconsin coach, is that there are football bowl subdivision teams, the Division I teams, that he'd prefer playing than a team like this because he knows how good they are. He said it's the best FCS team he's played, and he should know because he's played seven of them during his time here. But nevertheless, we saw a lot of things with this team that would be bothersome, especially after a year ago where the defense was one that statistically it looked good, did some really good things, but they would have hiccups every now and again, give up big plays, and we saw that today. Gave up poor tackling, a poor recognition on some of the plays, wound up allowing Northern Iowa to get back into a game that Wisconsin had in hand.
And that was the key, the defensive breakdowns there. Let's go to the locker room for some comments about that.
In the second half, we got on the field a little bit more, and we were surprised by the things we were seeing. We shouldn't have been surprised. These were things that we had repped in practice, a couple new things, but nothing we shouldn't have been able to handle.
What I'm going to hear it tomorrow in the staff meeting. You take away these 5 plays and we play a great game. Well, you can't. That doesn't happen in college football. So we'll take the positives and move forward.
Andy, on the offensive side of the ball, had to be impressed with Danny O'Brien coming out. They went very conservative early in terms of letting him kind of build up some rhythm. Passing game, great. Running game, not so much space back there for Monty. He got a Monte ball, 120 yards on 32 carries, but it wasn't like there were big chunks that were coming off. It was really tough to get yardage in there today, wasn't it?
And there were some layers to this equation. With Monte was not hit at all during camp, not a single blow. And I think that had an impact. He admitted it had an impact on him today, certainly in the first quarter. I think the offensive line, rebuilt to a degree, struggled in the run game. Travis Frederick acknowledged that they had difficulty sometimes even getting out of each other's ways, that there was some tripping going on, that there were some vertical difficulties trying to open up holes. And I just think that there's Northern Iowa did kind of forced its will on Wisconsin at certain times, not letting Monte Ball to get outside, not let James White get outside. So I think the run game had some struggles. As far as the offensive line also needs to get credit because its pass blocking was exceptional. Danny O'Brien had just all day to throw for the most part, and you saw his numbers reflected in that. He had a great day throwing the ball, 2 touchdowns, looked to be in command, looked like he was very comfortable checking down, doing what he needed to do. 2 of his passes were dropped. Otherwise, he was darn near close to a perfect day. So a very good debut by Danny O'Brien, a so-so debut by the offensive line and by the running game, knowing that they can get much better next week against Oregon State.
Just a few things to clean up. I think got to get a pass up, make a throw. But for the most part, I think in the passing game we were okay. Protection-wise was good, but just a few mental errors that you can't have and things that could potentially get you beat. But, it's a lot easier cleaning it up after a win than a loss, obviously.
For us, I think it came down to not getting the vertical push that we needed to get. I think that's something that we pride ourselves on as an offensive line, and it's something that we didn't live up to today. I think that we can move forward with this. I think that we've learned and we've figured some things out. I think there was a lot of things today that we're really close on. But obviously close isn't where we need to be. We need to be right on those things.
So the Badgers, in maybe less than impressive fashion, walk off with a win today, 1-0, heading to next week's game at Oregon State. Look for coverage all week on madison.com and in the Wisconsin State Journal.